we've got a couple things to do in this problem, and first of all, I think you know what we're going to do here. We're going to rewrite this as 4x to the 1/2. Then we can just use that power rule. So when we differentiate this to get the first derivative, f prime of x will be, now the 4 comes along, bring the 1/2 down in front, and then decrease it by 1, 1/2 minus 1. Now look, if you can just do this, that's what you do. I'm just showing every step. Actually, I would just bring the 1/2 down in front, multiply, half of 4 is 2, and then 1/2 minus 1. All right, so I'm going to get 2. X to the 1/2 minus 2/2 is negative 1/2, but I'm going to write it like this. F prime of x is 2 over x to the 1/2, but I can write that like this. I started with radicals, so maybe I want to end with a radical. So there's our first derivative. And now if I evaluate this at 1, I'll get f prime at 1 is going to be 2 over the square root of 1. So f prime of 1 is just 2. So I've got that part done. Let's go get our second derivative. I'll do that up top here. So second derivative, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work from this part right here, right where I've got the power, because then I can just bring it down. This is a little awkward down here. So bring the negative 1/2 down in front, negative 1/2 times 2. The 2's cancel, you just get negative 1. So we're going to get negative 1, or x to the, or just negative x. And then I've got negative 1/2 minus 1. So the second derivative here is negative x to the negative 3/2, or f prime of x, f double prime of x is negative 1 over x to the positive 3/2, or how about f double prime of x equaling negative 1 over, now this is going to be the square root of x. Now I'm just going to go ahead and write it like that because it might make it easy to compute. So, you know, there's several ways to write this derivative. I could write it like this, I could write it like this, or I could write it like this. They're all the same. One of them might be more easy to compute with. I'm going to compute with this last one I did right down here. I'm going to use this one here. So let's put in a 1. So f double prime of 1 is going to be negative 1 over the square root of 1 cubed. That's just negative 1 over 1, which is just negative 1. So f double prime of 1 is 1. So I've got the first derivative at 1, the second derivative at 1. So let's make a statement about this. Now here's what I know. The first derivative, all right, here's the first derivative down here. That's positive. The second derivative is up here. That's positive. Positive times positive is positive. And going with the first and the last, this positive reminds me of increasing. Positive and increasing. So I'm going to claim now that at x equals 1, right, because we're at 1, who knows what it does in other places, but at least at 1, f of x is increasing at an increasing rate. It's almost readable, right? Increasing at an increasing rate. And a little piece of that curve at 1 would look like this, increasing at an increasing rate.